There are a couple mechanics that let you keep your Pokemon alive longer, and I'm going to talk about them today. Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon, and here we play Jank. And I know this video is coming out later than expected. Yesterday was the 4th of July, Independence Day here in the USA, and lots of fireworks going off, big explosions. My neighbors were lighting off a ton until, after midnight, and so I wasn't able to record. I wouldn't have been able to get clean audio. So now it's the next day, and here I am recording. So I apologize for the wait, but I hope it was worth it. So let's jump into it, right? We're going to be talking about healing and protection. Those are two different mechanics that both, their goal is to let your Pokemon survive longer than usual, right? So what do I mean by healing and protection? So healing, obviously, there's cards that let you heal Pokemon, which is removing damage counters from your Pokemon. There's also cards that let you move damage counters. I count that as healing as well, although it is a different terminology, so it lets you do different things. I still count that as a way to heal, right? And then protection, and I mean lowering damage taken. There are effects that will completely prevent a Pokemon from taking any damage. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. That's kind of a separate mechanic in my opinion. Mimikyu comes to mind, Miltank comes to mind for those types of effects, that you just completely block damage. That's not really what I'm talking about when I'm talking about less damage. Or protection. I'm talking about the less damage. Those cards that are saying you take 30 less damage or whatever, right? So I want to get that out in the open first. And so let's talk about healing. And healing is usually something that you do actively. It's something that you have to do on your turn. Take example, the potion card, right? Potion card, you play it and you heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. You remove 30 damage, 3 damage counters from a Pokemon. And that is something you have to do on your turn. It's not something that just automatically happens. There is the new was that Garnoxial or whatever? It's the new Stage 2 Rock Pokemon, and it heals during Pokemon Checkup. That's kind of automatic, but healing is something you actively have to do on your turn normally. And the benefit of healing is that there's a lot of cards that let you heal in a lot of different ways. There's cards that let you completely heal a Pokemon. There's cards that let you heal some damage. And you can mix these to great effect. Moving damage counters, as I mentioned before, is another great way to heal your Pokemon, especially with particular cards. Cresselia comes to mind in Gardevoir decks that lets you take 20 damage from each of your Pokemon and put it on one of your opponent's Pokemon. There's a Slowbro that lets you move damage counters from one Pokemon onto it to try to heal that other Pokemon, right? There's a lot of ways to move damage counters and heal, and, you know, I think that is fantastic. Healing has definitely more options to it. It's also very difficult to counter for an opponent. Because it's happening on your turn, there's not much your opponent can do except watch you heal, which adds a lot of power to healing. The only problem is that it does nothing against one-hit KO decks. If you are playing against a deck, think something like Chien-Pao, right? A very popular ice Pokemon, water in the TCG, that is running rampant through the ladders right now because it can KO anything at any time, right? It can do an unlimited amount of damage, basically. And so, because it can do that much damage, it's very difficult for healing to matter in this matchup because Chien-Pao can just one-hit KO anything you put on the field. So those are some aspects of healing. It's really good, really powerful, but it does have that one big weakness, in my opinion, that it is one-hit KO. That it can't do anything against one-hit KOs. If your Pokemon gets KO'd, there's no healing it anymore. It has been KO'd, it is done. And that's where we get to protection. And protection is more passive because it matters on your opponent's turn, which also makes it open for your opponent to counterplay, gust up something that doesn't have protection, and that kind of stuff. We can see here Rock Chestplate. Now, this one only attaches to a fighting Pokemon, but that fighting Pokemon takes 30 less damage, right? So, it's a tool card. You attach it to a Pokemon, and that's all you do on your turn. On your turn, it doesn't really gain any benefit having Rock Chest Plate, right? So, you know, it's on your opponent's turn while they're attacking you, and they can gust around, they can remove the tool before they attack. There's a lot of different options here to counterplay. And that brings me up to the point above the counterplay point, is limited options. There's a lot less cards for preventing damage. Because preventing damage is so good, preventing damage is often better against these one-hit KO decks because it just makes it harder to KO. It's, in essence, having more HP in a way. Because while you know, you don't have more HP, they have to stretch that much further to do more damage in order to try to get these KOs. So it's an interesting give and take, right? But protection, we're talking about less damage here. Passive happens on your opponent's turn. It doesn't matter if you have protection on your turn. It matters if you have protection on your opponent's turn. Limited options. There's not as many options to protect yourself, and easier to counterplay from the opponent's side. So we need to talk about healing versus protection. And I've already mentioned some key aspects here, where healing happens on your turn, protection happens on your opponent's turn. However, when you think of healing cards, healing, you don't think of a healing Pokemon, right? When's the last time Arbolia saw any play? And this Pokemon can fully heal one of your Pokemon. Doesn't matter. You play this Pokemon and it just fully heals one of your Pokemon. Now, it's only on evolution, which does mean it's a very limited and you have to time it very carefully. But that's still a huge difference, right? Compared to Hisuian Goodra V-Star, considered a very good deck. And it prevents 80 damage. That's it, just 80. Now there's ways to manipulate that a little bit. You could throw in a Lake Acuity so that's an extra 20 that's prevented, and so on and so forth, right? But Hisuian Goodra V-Star is seeing a lot of play versus something like Arbolia, which is completely healing a Pokemon, seeing barely any play. Now, there's other options as well. If we look at Radiant Pokemon, which I didn't make a slide for because I'm silly and make mistakes, Radiant Gardevoir reduces damage coming in by 20, and Radiant Serena heals 20 damage, right? And both of these Pokemon do see play. The big difference is Radiant Serena will heal no matter what. It'll just heal 20 from all of your Pokemon. Radiant Gardevoir will protect 20 damage only from Pokemon V, so it's a little bit more specific in its implementation than Serena. So Serena's a lot easier to use, can be used by more decks, especially now that we have more Pokemon EX that are seeing play. Very good card, but again, we're talking about, you know, healing versus less damage, where healing against one-hit KO decks just does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. If your whole plan is to heal a bunch of damage, you got to be able to survive being attacked. And if you're up against Chien-Pao, that's going to be very difficult. So when we're looking at healing versus protection, honestly, I made this slide to point out that I think that's the wrong way to look at these two mechanics. These two mechanics actually fit together in a very unique way. I've been playing around with Zacian v Union, and is that it? Yeah, I believe so. And while I don't think that deck is good, I don't think it will see play on the channel even. It might if I can get it working, but I don't think it's that great. You know, I've been able to prevent 150 damage, and I've thrown in some healing cards as well because I'm able to survive so much. It's got 300 plus HP, so it's very hard to KO. Chien-Pao has to get so much energy out onto the field to get this one-hit KO, and that's if I don't use... Well, if I use that 150 attack, it will KO it because it will, you know, it's weak to metal. But you know what I mean, right? It's hard to KO a 300 plus HP Pokemon, and you got to be able to heal that. Plus, it's got a way to protect it if I can't get that one-hit KO. So, you know, there's a lot going on here. And I don't think the question really is healing versus protection. It's how do you mix the two? I do think protection does have a bit more limited usage. You know, Hisuian Goodra Visar is really the only card that I can think of that is doing well with protection. While healing, I just don't see that seeing much play, but that's got a lot of options to it. So many Pokemon have an attack that will just heal a small amount of damage, but that's part of the issue, right? Healing a lot is very difficult, where preventing damage is very similar to healing, but it seems to be okay with going up in those higher numbers. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think between the two mechanics? Do you enjoy healing decks? Do you enjoy protection decks? Or do you just find them annoying in this game? Let me know down in the comments, in the doobly-doo area, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Just to let you know, Saturday and Wednesday, I'll have non-Pokemon videos going up, and I hope you still enjoy them. They will be Star Wars and Funko related, so I hope that is still reaching part of your nerdom. I just never set out for this channel to be Pokemon only, but it's really turned into that because there aren't that many high-end digital TCG apps out there currently. I know Bandai's working on one for DBZ. There's hints of one being worked on for Digimon. Love to see one for One Piece. We'll have to see. And, you know, yeah, all that stuff. I am so close to 250 subscribers. When I started recording this before, I looked at my phone and I have 247. So 3 more subscribers is really all that I need. And when we get those 3 subscribers and hit 250, I want to do a live stream. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna try to figure that out, but I really want to just play live for people for a little bit, talk to people, join the Discord. That way, that's where I'm gonna be doing most of this discussion stuff. And if you are in the Discord and want to play a match against me, I don't know what deck I'll be playing, but if you want to play against me, jump in the Discord, let me know, and during the live stream we will try to fit that in, right? I think that'll be a lot of fun, and you know, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too, and I really love the idea between healing and protection decks. I just wish I could get them functional, if that makes any sense. Hisuian Goodra V-Star seems to be the only one that can really pull it off. I know Blissey V played a lot of healing cards as well, but it really seemed a lot more difficult for that to get functioning. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you prefer? What do you dislike about these mechanics? Again, comments, just dump them down there. And thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the future content that I'm making, and join the Discord, because when we do that live stream, you're going to want to be chatting with me, and that's going to be the place to do it. And hopefully we can play against each other. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.